Hi there, next up for review on the Mastertronic Chronicles we're going to look at one of the classic grid style packaging releases from 1985. It's called Phantom of the Asteroids, and let's load it up. Here's your packaging then, and nice bit of artwork on the cover here. Kind of cartoony style of our hero, presumably in his jetpack, zapping various aliens. As you can see, it's a $1.99 Mastertronic game, and we can see the classic grid style packaging on the spine there with the logo of the game on there. And on the back cover, the Earth is under threat from an asteroid hurtling towards it. You've been sent to the asteroid to destroy it, save the Earth from invasion by a swarm of bloodthirsty phantoms. Hence the name Phantom of the Asteroid, I suppose. And taking a look inside, we've got some screenshots with a lot of grey on them, and it seems to have a little chap flying around in his jetpack or something along those lines. And a quick look inside shows the aim of the game, tells you how you've got to destroy this asteroid that you're inside, and controls. This is quite interesting. Seems to be the capability to save and load games there. L to load previous save game, and you can save the game position when the game is paused by hitting S. I'm not sure if that actually saves it to anything or if it's just within the memory of the game. Once it's loaded, we'll soon find out. And I've got loading instructions, and that's your lot really. Okay, here's the loading screen, which looks very similar to the front cover of the game. The one difference being that the name of the game on the loading screen says Phantom of the Asteroid, whereas on the cover it said Phantom of the Asteroids. So I'm not quite sure which is the real name of the game. Let's wait and see what it says on the title screen. Okay, so here's the game loaded up. Here's your title screen, and just to confuse matters even more, the title screen says the game is called Phantoms of the Asteroid. So that's 3 different variations of the game name we've had between the front cover, the loading screen and the title screen. So I'm going to say it's called Phantoms of the Asteroid since that's what it says here. And as you can see, it's by Martin Ellis and music by Rob Hubbard, which is what it says in that pink text there, if you can make it out on that grey background. And we've got a status bar across the bottom as well with various things on, which I'll go through when we start the game. Quick note about that title screen music, pretty cool stuff by Rob Hubbard. Okay, so let's get the game started. And you materialise within the asteroid, rather chubby looking spaceman with his jetpack on, and immediately these phantoms start materialising, which do so endlessly. They're rather cute actually, if rather annoying because they do constantly respawn, as I said, but they're almost too cute to shoot, although if you didn't shoot them then they drain your energy, which I'll just demonstrate. Energy being the middle of the 3 bars there. You've also got oxygen and fuel. Fuel is done with is run out there. Try that again. Fuel is run out when you use a jetpack. You only have 1 life, so while the phantoms don't kill you, pretty much everything else in the game does. So just to demonstrate how you can come to a quick and sticky end, if you hit one of these barriers when it's lit up, you explode and it's game over, which isn't much fun. So you've got to be very careful to get anywhere in the game. Another little Rob Hubbard tune there when the game ends as well. Right, so let's get the game started again. I didn't mention the music within the game itself, which is very fitting. I assume another Rob Hubbard tune. Quite minimalist, but very sort of lonesome, sort of morbid kind of tune, which sort of sums up your journey within this large asteroid complex. The little blue thing that I'm stood next to there is a replenishing for the oxygen. So you just have to stand on that and your oxygen refuels itself, if that's the right word. Replenishes, I suppose. And you can just sit here and shoot all these things endlessly if you really wanted to. You'll notice the score just goes up incessantly. You don't really score points for shooting the creatures, although the count of how many creatures you've shot does go up as well. So basically you amass a big score just by playing for as long as you can, which, given that you've only got one life, is easier said than done. So the idea of the game is you've got to explore the asteroid, shoot the creatures and find 30 odd little pods, 36 I think it is. I'm assuming this grid here lights up when you found these little things that they described in the instruction manual, and I can't remember what they're called. So I'm just going to pause the game just for a second to remind myself what those things are called. They are called 36 uranium cubes. So yeah, when I find any uranium cubes, I'm assuming they'll light up in this grid. While I'm paused, just to go through the status bar, you've also got fuel, which, as I said when I finally got my words out, was when you use your jetpack. Energy runs out when you're hit by the phantoms, and oxygen just runs out generally, and you do need to replace each of the three to keep going within the game. So let's carry on and see if we can find anything else of interest. Graphics wise, the spaceman's quite chubby, as I said, with his jetpack, and the little flame for his jetpack's quite cool. Otherwise it's a very rather sparse grey kind of a asteroid, with a mixture of walls that look like they've been built by something and kind of caves. There are a few other things around the asteroid which we might see sooner or later, if I can find them. There we go, there's these sort of tentacled creatures on the wall. One touch from them and they do kill you, as do the spikes, so lots of places where you've got to sort of work your way through the asteroid quite carefully. Again, that blue thing on the roof there, don't know what it is, but I'm pretty much sure it kills you, and those yellow flames there, yep, they kill you as well. So lots of hazards that you've got to avoid. Okay, so this is another thing that you can stand on that doesn't kill you, and that replenishes your fuel, as you can probably see on the fuel bar there. So that's also important to if you're going to last any amount of time in the game. So I'll carry on and see what else I can find within the asteroid. The control of your guy when he's in flight, it's actually quite good, it's quite precise, but there is this moment when you turn around from one direction to the other where you can't shoot, so that makes you vulnerable to the phantoms. But to be honest, the phantoms are pretty much the least of your worries, because there's so many other things that can kill you. The phantoms running your energy out is of minimal concern. So here you can see I can't get past this blue barrier, that will kill me. You can see a pink barrier, kind of pad there. If I could find out how to get to that, that will switch the pink barriers off for a short amount of time. The green ones flash on and off all the time. They're the only areas that are quite easy to get through. Just a note about the sounds, they're pretty functional. You've got sort of the kind of explosion-y kind of noise when the phantoms materialise, and a kind of average sort of blooping sound when your fire your laser fires, so nothing too much to speak about there. Cool, just got through that barrier in time there, otherwise that would have been the end of the game. So here's one of those pads that I was talking about. It's the green one, which enables the green barriers, but then they're already possible to get through anyway, so it serves basically no purpose. So at least you've seen one. Carry on exploring. I think that the obvious thing to say about the game so far is there's a lot of exploring to do and a lot of hazards to avoid, but it seems quite difficult to make any kind of progress in the game. Here's a rather large big green laser wall thing right across the screen. And here's another recharge point. This one recharges your energy, which was running almost down to 0, so that's handy. I can carry on a bit further as a result of that. So I'm still exploring the caverns of the asteroid and getting rather bored now, to be perfectly honest. What can I say about the game? The basics of a quite a decent gamer here. You know, the graphics are kind of their time for the C64. The music's cool. Sounds are not much to speak of. Now that must be one of these things that I've got to collect, one of these uranium pods, but I haven't worked out how to get to it yet, because all the possible ways to get to it, all the doors seem to be the wrong colour, for want of a better word, as you can see there. So I've still yet to work out how to get there. I have got a top score by surviving longer than I have in any previous goes. I've also shot 125 creatures. Yeah, so I mean the basics are quite a nice game. The control of the character's good. In a way it's fun just to fly around and see what you can find. But what's getting annoying now is that I'm not making any kind of progress with the aim of the game. I've been playing for about 10 minutes or so now and still yet to find anywhere that I can get to one of these uranium pods. So all in all, getting a little bit annoyed with it now. I will continue on. But I just think sooner or later I'm going to make a mistake that's going to wipe out all the work I've done so far, such that it is, and it'll be game over. Which would be quite annoying. I've still not found how to get to that uranium pod, and I've nearly run out of fuel now. I don't know if this is going to be game over for me when I do, or if I'm just not going to be able to use the jetpack. Either way, can't see myself lasting much longer. So just to summarise, it's got the mechanics of a decent sort of game and nice sound and reasonable graphics. But it's just kind of boring and frustrating, and you're going to need a hell of a lot of patience to complete the game, given that one false move hitting a hazard and you're going to be dead. So I'm just going to see what happens when my fuel runs out. There we go, I'm now out of fuel. Can't get to anywhere that's got fuel, so I'm just going to have a bit of a wander. So is it worth $1.99? Well, it depends how patient you are, really, I guess. Me, I'm not particularly patient at the best of times, so I'm going to say no, even though some of the aspects of it are actually quite enjoyable. So I'm just going to shoot as many more creatures as I can. But basically I'm now plunging to the bottom of the asteroid. My oxygen's nearly run out now as well, as has my energy. So let's find something just to... there we go, that'll do, and that's game over.